Let's close out the day with Mr. Cliff Mautner. He's going to talk to you about autofocus and autofocusing techniques because that's one of the biggest questions we get, and he's here to entertain you. Ladies and gentlemen, Cliff Mautner.
Thank you, Mikey. Wow, WPPI. You know, what's funny about WPPI is that it used to be at the Rio many, many years ago. Then it went to Paris, and then MGM, and Mirage, and Mandalay Bay, and all these other places. And here we are, full circle. Today, I am going to talk about Nikon's incredible AF system, how far it's come, and the incredibly simple techniques, I should say technique, that I use. You might see me do it once and say, okay, great. No longer do I need to sit here and watch this guy, and that's fine, okay? But the first thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about some of the images that I've created, a little bit about me, if you care about following me at all, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people still use Facebook? I don't know. So this is my axe, okay? This is a Z8. I use this a lot. I also use a Z6 III, which is a remarkable piece of equipment. Because of its size, this little puppy packs a punch. And it doesn't sacrifice autofocus capabilities because it's a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter. It still has those focus capabilities that kick butt in any lighting condition you face, okay? Sharpness is a bourgeois concept, right? Remember when Cartier-Bresson said that? When Bresson said that, I don't think he was really using autofocus. He was using his Leica. So shooting wide open enhances my creativity. I love the process of taking a 1.4 or a 1.2 lens that we have today, shooting it wide open. And when you think about it, if you've got an 85 1.2 or you've got a 135 1.8 Plano, which I urge you to go see those people and slap one on and just give it a try, because it's a remarkable experience just looking through a viewfinder with that Plano lens. I don't have one yet. I will have one. That's my next lens. So this was my old 85 1.4, okay? Just focusing on the eye. I didn't have eye autofocus back then, but I've got it now. This is a Z8. Being able to use the eye autofocus, locking onto the eyeball, and it's not the eyelash, it's the eyeball, and that's why it looks so sharp. So it takes 10,000 hours to truly master anything, right? As Malcolm Gladwell said that. Well, if you pick this camera up now, you will master autofocus in no time flat. It is that good. It is that reliable. Shadow is my canvas, light is my paint. If I die tomorrow, that'll be my photographic epitaph on my tombstone. And really what I'm trying to do, and what I'll probably do a little bit here in a little demonstration, is attempt to make a couple pictures on this little teeny stage and see if I can make it work using these autofocus techniques. But again, light is still used the same way. Just because I'm shooting it wide open apertures doesn't make me use light any differently than I've always used it, which is creating texture, dimension, and mood with the light that I have found. Direction creates dimension. It is direction. It is not the quality of the light. I mean, it's not the quantity of the light. It's the quality of the light. And back in the day, when I was shooting manual focus, in this, I'm focusing on the eyelash. It's so simple to do it today. But as you can see, shooting wide open, it eliminates distractions. The bokeh is really remarkable. The colors just jump out at you. Taking a light behind, shining it on a really cloudy day, hitting the bride's face, making it look like sunlight. All the techniques are the same. I just happen to shoot this at 1.2 with my 85. So taking distractions out of wedding preparation rooms. How many of you shoot weddings? Okay. When you're in a room and it's really distracting and there's so much going on, there's people in the back, there's a makeup artist in the corner, there's junk that they haven't cleaned up from their lunch, okay? You can eliminate those things when you have wide open apertures, okay? There's all kinds of stuff going on behind her. And this is just a simple technique of shooting wide open, okay? All right. So, and that was to prompt me and remember that I'm going to be shooting live in just a few minutes. So, isolation is another thing. Simplicity is another thing. When you're shooting wide open, you can isolate your subject beautifully. So now, you might say, well, what technique is he using? In these new fancy dancy cameras, I use something called 3D tracking, okay? 3D tracking. It's unique to Nikon's system because of its consistency, okay? Its flexibility, and also it will see a face, even if that face only takes up 3% of the frame. Have you ever looked through with your autofocus system and it couldn't find the face? Well, 3%, that's all it needs for it to recognize that there is a face within the frame, and the 3D tracking will pick it up. And then I find that face, I press the shutter halfway down, and then I can just do this, and it'll stay right on that eye, right on that face. It is a remarkable system. I urge you to give it a try over there. This was for the Z9 campaign. This is a wedding from last year. And you might say, wow, why is he shooting at 1.2 all the time? Anybody know the answer? Because I can. That's the answer. And why wouldn't you with these lenses? If they're that sharp, and also you might say, well, what if there's two people? I just get a little further, okay? What affects depth of field? Yes, aperture. What's the other one? Distance. So I'll get a little further, and yes, I can shoot two people at 1.2. So it really isolates and really enables me to concentrate on the story, concentrate on the subject. Here you go. 1 photo out of focus is a mistake. 10 photos out of focus is an experimentation. 100, that's a style, all right? So when people used to take pictures out of focus and they used to say that they were good, I would just kind of shrug my shoulders. Even in low light, this is a Z9 for the Z9 campaign. Being able to go into wedding receptions, ladies and gentlemen, wedding receptions, shoot at 1.2, boost your ISO with a Z6 III up to around 6400. There really isn't anything I can't shoot with those settings if the quality of the light is there, which it is here. I can go in there and I can shoot. I don't need flash for these types of images, and it looks much more natural. I've maintained the integrity of the ambiance, okay? I found her face. This is all the same technique. It's 3D tracking. 3D tracking, it's all the same. Eye autofocus. And these are all wide open apertures. So I'll just take a moment to show just a few more, okay? And right here, I focus on here as opposed to the mom, because remember, when you're dealing with depth of field, you have the subject, and you have more depth of field from the subject and beyond that subject than you do the subject and before that subject. So, for example, if you're shooting a group, and you have a group on one plane, and you have a group behind, no, I'm not going to shoot that at 1.2, but what I am going to do, I'll move back just a little bit, maybe use a little longer lens, maybe I'll shoot it at f4 or 4.5, and I'm going to focus on the front person as opposed to the back person. Both will be in focus at that point. If you focus on the subjects that are behind the first row, you're less likely to have the people in front sharp, okay? Just a little focus education. I just threw that in there. I was using my AF, and Shaq decided, this is for an Epson campaign, and he decided to just kind of mess around. But it still allowed me to get a sharp image. That was a moment we shared. Love this guy. But again, IAF. So in my corporate communications, This is another area that I do a lot of work. I'm just holding the camera up, and it's doing the work for me. I can flip the screen down with my Z6 III or my Z8, and I can see where I'm focused upon. And even with the live view, I can just touch it, and it locks onto the eye. It's really quite remarkable. Concert photography has never, ever been easier. It is really quite remarkable. And this young lady right here had just a wonderful look on her face. This is low light. This is red light. There's not a lot of contrast, okay? 3D tracking. I locked on the eye, and then I can recompose all I want, and that focus point stays on that eye. This is my 85-1.2 as well in red light. That's really difficult light sometimes. Branding session for an old bride of mine who does some self-help stuff, some corporate communications and things of that sort. And one of my muses, his name's Corey. Again, just IAF, just 3D tracking. This is really ridiculous low light here. This is from a mitzvah from a few weeks ago. And I think I was at like ISO 8000, probably at like 125th at 1.2. We couldn't do that years ago. This would be very difficult to capture. Okay. One of my favorites from a fairly recent wedding, Corey's wedding I shot. And again, IAF. But look at the eyeball. It's the eyeball that it finds. It's not the eyelash. All right, quick moving bedecken during a Jewish ceremony. Another element that's very difficult to focus in. And I'm just kind of moving quickly, locking on mom's face and recomposing at the same time. Okay, 1.2, moments after a ceremony. So you kind of see the theme here that I'm going along. And here's what I like to say now. If you miss focus these days, there's something wrong. It's user error. It really, really is. Remember when shooting silhouettes, the lens would rack back and forth? You get that annoying element that you just couldn't lock on. Well, it's going to recognize the face. The algorithms within these cameras, they're going to see that that's a face. And it's even going to find the eye, even in a silhouette. I just think that's really cool. So again, it's almost a thoughtless process. These people were literally moving in on me, and I'm just taking pictures. I just focused on the sister of the bride, and I let everything else happen. So the title of this was, I think I wanted to say, focus so easy, even a caveman can do it. But Mike likes to say, focus so easy, even I can do it, which is kind of true because I'm an old school, manual focus guy. But look what I'm doing here. This is 1.2, 1600, and this is a mother-son dance. When was the last time you chose to shoot at 1.2 during a wedding reception? Some people would think it's almost photographic malpractice for fear of not getting things in focus. But for me, it was so simple. And look at these settings. Again, 1.2, 3/20th, 5,000. But the quality of the light is so beautiful. Why use a flash? Why not try to shoot this at 1.2 and make some beautiful images? So a camera is an instrument that teaches people to see without a camera. Dorothea Lange said that. It's one of my favorites. So I try to think about the images that I'm seeing without a camera. The camera is just the tool to capture it. I don't think about the nuts and the bolts and the mechanics of it all. Being able to capture these moments, by the way, the horse had an allergy. Being able to capture these moments without having to think about the technical aspects frees up your creativity. You don't have to think about it. All the fudging around with settings, especially if you're a new photographer, you can pick this stuff up, and the learning curve is very, very fast. And she did say to me, by the way, my horse has an allergy. I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? Anyway, so what I want to do now, I'm going to do a little bit of live shooting here, okay? And as tight as this space is, I'm going to give it my best shot. And if I can have my model up here, All right. And we haven't met. What is your name? What is it? Natalia. Very nice to meet you. You look lovely. And Alfredo, can we have a nice... So what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically demonstrate here my focusing technique. And I'm assuming right now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the IAF, okay? I'm going to point it here so you can really see it. I have all of these choices here, okay? That's the AF area modes. That will find the eye, no problem. I'll do it here. Great. It's going to find her eye. So I'm going to, and actually, Alfredo, if you can come here. Great. So I'm just going to demonstrate right now what I'm seeing through there, okay? Great. It's finding the eye. My preference, my personal preference, is 3D tracking, okay? Because what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take the center focus point. Well, it's really the focus point itself. Do you see that little rectangle? Yes, you do. Now, I'm going to put it right on the eye. There. Now it's locked. I'm at 1.2. I can go anywhere I want. My finger is pressed halfway down, and it's going to continue to stay focused at 1.2. All right, so I'll just take a frame. And by the way, I generally don't shoot like that. So I'm going to just kind of shoot like this. Boom, here. Now, what's nice about this, the eye is absolutely 100% tack sharp, okay? And I can show you that. All right. What's my setting here? I'm going to do one more. Great. A little higher. Good. Good. All right, we can see, we can really zoom in. Absolutely tack sharp. So here's the image. Now, one of the things I like to preach, especially in my workshops, in order to give yourself a really creamy background, is pulling your subject away from the background. When I do these workshops and I see students outside and there's trees and there's branches and there's things of that sort. Oftentimes they go all the way against a shrub or a tree or a bush or something. Pull them away so that the background can go completely out of focus and not distract from your bride's face or their gown or things like that. So I'm going to bring you closer to me, okay? Alfredo, can you, there we go. In fact, if we can do it sort of like, there we go, right there. So now she's even further away. Wonderful. Good. So the background now is basically nothingness. Let's move all the way forward, back towards there, and I'm going to show you. Now we're actually going to see there's a little crease back there. Can you go back a little bit more? Almost like all the way. There we go. Good. Good. So now we can actually see that there's kind of a crease in the background. I can certainly see it on my LCD. But as we move them away from the background at 1.2, there is no background anymore. What I'd like to do now, I'm going to add, it's a little flat for my tastes. So I'm going to go back to this frame here, which is kind of nice here. And it's, you know, not easy making nice pictures up here. Yes, I'd like that pointed that way. Good. And then, yeah. So, in fact, I'm going to do this. That's all good. So, what Alfredo is doing, he's holding a tungsten balanced light up there. I've got my daylight balanced light here. I'm also in auto white balance. I'm in 3D tracking. I'm at 1.2. Let's see if I can make a picture that has nice warm background here. Boom. Let's see how that looks. Great. Now, I could warm the background up by a color temperature. Hilmar, can you warm that puppy up? Or give me like red. Give me some funky color. Hilmar is like a master of color, an absolute master. So the one that he is holding, just make some funky color. And then I'm going to bring you forward. Why am I bringing her forward to me? Because I want that background creamy. There we go. Cool. Nice. Oh, I like it. Good. And bring the, there we go, out of the, that's good. Wonderful. Good. So it's one frame, 1.2, and it's kind of that simple. So if you're in your studio and you're in your house, all I'm trying to do here, this is just two simple lights. Daylight balanced, red, whatever color you want to use. But the idea here is to enhance the creativity by using these wide open apertures with these incredible lenses, an unbelievable focus system, okay? I'll tell you, I'm blown away, and if I ever miss, that's when I'm shocked. And generally speaking, if I ever do miss, it's user error. And that's what I'm going to tell all of you folks. When you see these cameras and how good they are, if you miss focus, generally speaking, it's going to be user error, okay? So let's try another one. I'm going to try one with a little side light here, just like that. Good. But I'm going to get really close. Let's see how close I can get. Good. Oh, I like that. Right there. Now, once again, 3D tracking. Boom. Here. Good. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. Not bad at all. But again, can you see how sharp it is? And I can go right onto that eye. Actually, boom. Which eye? Yep. Boom. There it is. Whoop. It's crazy sharp. Good. I'm going to get even closer this time. Okay? No, I love that color right there. It's just for demonstration. Good. There we go. Bring your chin down just a hair for me. Good. Right there. There we go. Good. How did that work? I mean, what's that? This is the Z6 III, yeah. And again, just because this is a little less expensive than the Z8, you're not sacrificing anything in autofocus capabilities. This is the camera that I use a lot for wedding receptions now because at, I guess it's 24 megapixels. I don't need 45 megapixels of people dancing. Who the heck needs that, folks? I know I don't, okay? Let's try a couple other. You know what I want to do? Can you kind of lean up against here? Not good. I'm going to do one more. Good, just like that. Here. Let's see if I could. All right. I'm really going to accentuate the Nikon sign leading right into her. Good. There we go. Good. How's that? That's a little weird. Not exactly my taste, but you never know what you're going to get up here. Now, if I were to shoot at, let's try it. Can you do that one more time? I'm going to move back a little bit, okay? And just for demonstration purposes, can you do that? I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go to F5, okay? And now I can see the Nikon sign. So just that little change in aperture value is going to enable you to create images that maybe you're not going to see with the naked eye. That's what is so valuable, in my opinion, of these remarkable pieces of glass that they have now. Now, I did ask for a 135 plena, but we can't take them off of those cameras. But I really do urge you, in the next day or two during the trade show, go back there and said, that guy Cliff told me about the plena. It's a 135, 1.8, and it's like no lens I've ever picked up. The only thing I can compare it to is the old 202. It's an older lens that was also, at one time, it might have been considered the best lens Nikon ever made. Now, this lens, the 85 1.2, the 135, and now there's also a 35 millimeter 1.2. All of these things are just going to help you make really incredible photographs, but it's you that makes the photographs. Remember, the camera is an instrument that teaches people how to see without a camera. Dorothea Lange said that. And the best gear in the world is not going to help you make great pictures. You're making the great pictures, but it's providing us with the tools to do so, okay? I'm going to do one or two more here. I actually kind of like, if you can go back just a little bit more. And I'm going to do some real severe side light. Good, right there. I'm going to go back to 1.2. Yeah, I actually like that. You know what? Why don't you look out that way? Good. Now, this is a little bit trickier because it's on the side. In fact, you know what? I want a profile. Good. A little bit more. Keep turning to your right. Keep turning to your right. Okay. Good. All right. Now, if you've ever used an AF system and you've had difficulty catching the eye in profile, you're not alone, but let's see if this can do it. I think it will. Good. So I'm in 3D tracking. I press the shutter right there. Come on. Right there. Now I recompose. Good. Nailed it. It's almost inconceivable that people can take out of focus pictures with the system that I'm using right now. I'm just going to bring that one up one more time. What were my settings here? It was a 200 at 1.6. Let's see if I can go to 1.2. Good. All right, once again, I'll talk you through it. I like that very much. So we're going to pick out the eye right there. Come on. There. Recompose. Good. I don't think it gets much sharper than that. So I hope you guys take some time, like this is the end of the trade show today. Come back tomorrow. Take a look at that glass back there. We have some amazing Nikon representatives that are demonstrating these things to people. Put it at 1.2. Give it a whirl. And the next time someone says, why are you shooting at 1.2? Just say, because I can. All right? And I'm just going to do, you know what? They're kind of, I'm going to get the hook in a second anyway, which I don't mind. I hope everyone enjoys WPPI. And I'm happy to take some questions, but I'm going to do it out of the way, all right, so that they can sort of do their thing. But I'll take any questions over here. Thanks for sticking around.